Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Focus Vandalia. My name is Rich Hopkins. I'm the communications manager for the city. And on today's program, we're going to get you ready for Air Show 2011, give you the best routes to get in and out without a lot of delay. We're also going to let you know why Vandalia's Division of Fire is putting on block parties geared especially for kids. And we'll give you the inside scoop on a series of summer concerts that are absolutely free. But our first stop today is right here at the construction site for the new Airport Hyundai. Now, as the construction behind tells you, things might be on the rebound economically here in Vandalia.
Joseph Airport Toyota in Scion has been a mainstay in the Vandalia business landscape for many years. And now the dealership is adding to its product line, bringing in the Hyundai name. Assistant City Manager Greg Shackelford says the project is a good sign for the entire community.
It should really help increase their business that's already growing. Obviously, they had the opportunity to acquire this line of business, and they feel like it's really going to strengthen what they already bring to the table.
And while the construction continues on National Road, right around the corner, crews are starting to build what will house the new Carter Logistics trucking terminal.
If you haven't been down Peters Pike recently, Carter has started moving dirt about a month ago, and they're really hoping that they can get their facility open by the end of the year, and that's going to bring in another over 100 employees to the city. So fantastic news.
The big question being asked these days is, does all this digging mean we can finally bury the economic downturn? Shackelford says it may be too early for that, but the signs are definitely pointing to a recovery.
There's been a lot of inquiries lately about Vandalia. We've had some really nice opportunities to visit with companies that have had ribbon cutting ceremonies and groundbreaking and open houses, especially in our Northwoods Business District. That's over off of Falls Creek. There's been at least 3 open houses and ribbon cutting ceremonies in the last month. We also have Project Triplet over there that we don't know the final outcome on that yet, but it's down to us and one other location, and we really hope to hear great news on that very soon.
And while we don't know much about the company behind Project Triplet, we do know that if Vandalia is selected, it would mean as many as 300 jobs and 300 new employees driving into the city over the next few years. And if they're driving into Vandalia on some selected roadways, they'll notice a much smoother ride. That's because the city's 2011 road resurfacing project is underway, with 11 streets getting attention through this year's summer months. Chad Bothman with the city's Development and Engineering Services is one of the folks responsible for deciding which streets get attention each year. He says deciding which streets get resurfaced is a long process.
Every 2 years, we go through and we actually drive every street in the city to determine its condition and what time that we need to go out and do the repaving. Different factors go into it as far as the obvious visible signs of cracking and rutting, that type of thing, but also on its use. If it's a more widely used street, thoroughfare, something like that, it's going to get a higher position in our rating system than, say, a cul-de-sac street that would get very little traffic.
Once all the data is entered, the streets with the most need are identified.
Based on the amount that's budgeted for our between curb and sidewalks and our resurfacing, we'll go through and do the streets that we can. We'll make our money go as far as we can go.
If you live on a street that's getting resurfaced this summer, you'll get to know 2 different contractors handling 2 different aspects of the job.
First, we have our curb and sidewalk contractor come in, which is Coat Construction, and they're out here right now on Crestwood Hills. They'll come through, and after I identify which sections of curb and sidewalk need to be replaced, they'll come out, remove the curb, and then they'll come through and pour the new curb, pour new sidewalk, and then once that work is complete, then our paving contractor can come in, who is Butler Asphalt this year, and they'll come through and mill off the first 1.5 inches typically of asphalt, and then put down the new asphalt.
Bothman says the current process has been in place since 2006, and the reviews from residents impacted has been very positive. That is, after a few questions are answered.
The first question usually is, how much is this going to cost me? And then whenever they find out, you know, it's not going to cost you anything. It's your tax dollars at work. they seem to be pretty happy, and we try to get everything done within a reasonable period of time, get people, if their driveways are affected, get them back in their driveways as soon as we can. And we have the contractor comes in and they take care of all the reseeding and bringing in the topsoil and the grass seeds. So, and Coat Construction this year has been really good with that.
And from paving the way to safer roadways to building a foundation for a safer tomorrow, Vandalia's Division of Fire is targeting certain apartment complexes for some lighthearted block parties with a very serious message behind them. Vandalia Fire Chief Chad Follick says residents who live in multi-family homes like apartment buildings are only as safe as the folks they live near.
The unique thing about multiple family dwellings is as an occupant or as a renter, you could do everything right and you're still at the mercy of your neighbors.
And the statistics seem to make a pretty compelling case that some apartment dwellers need a little help when it comes to fire safety.
Our fire experience in multiple family dwellings, multiple family residential apartment buildings was significantly higher than any place else in the city. In fact, about 30-some-odd% of the fires that occurred in the last 3 years occurred in mostly multiple family dwellings. So we started working on a project to address that target hazard.
Follick says that over the past 5 years, 85% of all fire injuries have taken place in apartment settings. In fact, Vandalia's most recent fire fatality also occurred in an apartment setting. So how do you get adults to take fire safety serious? Well, Chief Follick says one strategy that works is targeting their kids.
Addressing the kids in those multiple family dwellings was probably the best way to get our fire safety message out. It's worked for us in other programs like Passport to Safety, Stop, Drop, and Roll, and things like that. So we decided to host a couple block parties. We're doing 2 of them this year. We're focusing on the apartment complexes with the largest population of kids.
Follick said kids just seem to be more receptive of their message and more likely to repeat the message to other folks that may need to hear it.
The kids seem to be more attentive. You can do a 30 or 40-minute presentation to them on fire safety. They get it. You can make it fun, and it seems like those fun things are what sticks with them the longest. We've had overwhelming success. If we get one kid to dial 911 when mom or dad are in trouble, or catch a smoking situation in one of the apartments that's not safe, and kind of chastise mom or dad on that. It seems like that hits home more than us just giving that 30-minute presentation to their parents.
So in the summer of 2011, the Division of Fire has scheduled 2 block parties, one at the Timberlake and Cedarbrook apartments just off Dixie Drive, the other at the Castle Hill swimming pool, to bring fun, games, and a fire safety message to kids who live in multi-family units in those areas. The first party took place in late June.
It was an overwhelming success. The guys had 150, almost 200 kids at this event, had the opportunity to pass along a lot of safety messages and have a lot of fun with them. They did relay races and prizes and trivia, and we actually have a piñata we hung from our ladder truck, and they got to smash the piñata for candy. So it was a good time for all, and I'm sure that we're confident that our message got to the kids, and they'll eventually share it with their parents, and we can try to make an impact and increasing the safety in those dwellings.
The second party is scheduled for late July, and again, that one's scheduled for the Castle Hill swimming pool. Castle Hill Swimming Pool was also in the news recently for doing something it hadn't done in many years, and that is host a swim meet. The pool fielded a swim team last year, but was not ready to host a meet just yet. That all changed in late June when the Castle Hills Piranhas hosted the Miamisburg Barracudas in a tightly contested match. When the last event had been held, the home team came up on the short side of the score, but all in attendance say that all the kids who participated felt like winners. And while we're talking about hosting big events, we should mention that the Division of Parks and Recreation has had a very busy summer with several large-scale events. Perhaps the largest of the bunch took place on Sunday, July the 3rd. That's when several thousand area residents flooded the sports complex for the Star-Spangled Celebration. With one of the largest crowds in recent memory, folks got the chance to sample some local delicacies. Visit the Ohio National Guard's display for a chance to win prizes. Listen to great music from local band My Three Sons. Grab a free balloon sculpture with local artisan Jeff Wisman. And at the end of the night, gaze skyward for a terrific fireworks show. Another major event held at the sports complex recently was the Cultural Arts Committee's Chalk the Walk. Sidewalk artists from across the region claimed their paved piece of canvas and created their masterpieces. Joining along in the event were some local City of Vandalia departments, including the city manager's office, who put their most artistic foot forward. Winners in 3 categories were given awards for their work, and all who strolled the walk got a chance to see some very talented artists at work. Perhaps the biggest event of the summer is the Dayton Air Show, which hits the skies over Vandalia on July 23rd and 24th. This year, the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds will be the featured jet team, but planes of all sorts will be in the skies all day long. Closer to terra firma, thousands of flight enthusiasts will invade the streets of Vandalia to get into the airport and see the show. Vandalia Police Lieutenant Harry Bussey says if you're driving to the air show, the best route to take is the shortest and most direct one.
The primary route that we recommend is coming in off Northwoods Boulevard off I-75. There are going to be 3 lanes of traffic coming inbound. If you have a pass to go to the air show, you need to go north on Dixie Drive when you get there. Any of the 3 lanes will let you get to the general admission parking. From the south lot, which everybody is kind of reluctant to go to, there is a shuttle bus that's run that will take you up to the air show gate. If you go north, we ask you to cross the pedestrian crossing to go in to buy your tickets. We ask people not to walk on the roadway, in the roadway. Our goal is to try to keep everybody safe and keep traffic flowing.
Bussey says that there's no way to get into the air show without navigating Vandalia streets to get there. In the 37 years that the air show has been a major Miami Valley attraction, the folks on the outside have learned a thing or two about getting drivers in and out of the air show with as little a hassle as possible.
And we've refined and tweaked this every year. You have to realize that it's not the same as driving on an interstate highway. It's not going to be 65 miles an hour. We have very limited roadway, but the traffic posts are set up to keep traffic moving. If you pay attention to the many signs that we put up, pay attention to the maps that you're given when you buy your air show tickets, pay attention to the public service announcements and the newspaper articles, you should have no problem getting in or out of the air show.
Again, the best route to take is I-75 to the Northwoods Boulevard exit. Then head west on Northwoods to Dixie, where you'll be directed on where to park, depending on the tickets and the passes you may have. You can also access the air show from I-70 by taking the Airport Access Road to National Road and then heading east. There's an entrance into the airport grounds near Delsing Drive that should get you in and parked in short order. Bussey says as easy as it is to get parked, it's a little more challenging when it's time to leave.
The only time we really get heavy traffic is at let-out time, but we've had people coming in since 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. They have slowly come in, they've been parked, they've gone in and enjoyed the show, and when the last act flies, everybody wants to leave at one time, and it doesn't work too well. It takes us probably an hour and a half or so to get everybody out of the parking areas.
And after sharing the tarmac with tens of thousands of airplane enthusiasts, you may just want a day to sit back and relax. Well, that's the idea behind the Vandalia Parks and Recreation Summer Concert Series taking place at Vandalia's Seeger Park. The concerts involve a variety of performers and come with a price tag of absolutely free. Recreation Supervisor Elaine Kaler says the first show of the season went off without a hitch.
It was a lot of fun, and we had perfect weather for it. It was wonderful because you couldn't see one person's foot standing still because everybody was tapping to the music. And then once the sun went down, we were able to get the movie started, and with families throwing baseball in the background. It was a really fun celebration.
The series includes 4 shows on 4 different Sunday evenings. Half of those shows come with something a little extra, a movie.
We have a perfect atmosphere for the concerts and the movie. Right on the back of the building, we pull a screen down and you watch as the lightning bugs come out. And it's just a beautiful setting with all the trees, and everybody just has a really good time.
Kaler says the events are free because of companies stepping up to sponsor the shows.
Thank goodness we have wonderful organizations in our community, including Hearth and Home of Vandalia and Mercy Sienna Retirement Community, who have helped us provide this free to the community and provide some quality entertainment that can be enjoyed by everybody.
Well, it doesn't look like much right now, but on a concert Sunday night, Seeger Park behind me is filled with people who want to catch a great concert followed by a pretty good movie. Now on July the 24th, the Tip Community Band will kick off the evening with a concert, followed by Rango. That's a movie starring Johnny Depp. And then the concert series wraps up on Sunday, July the 31st with the Rock Island Plow Band. That's going to do it for this edition of Focus Vandalia. I'm Rich Hopkins. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.